idea of feeling multidimensional, something that we're all sort of interested in, even if we haven't fully defined what multidimensional means entirely. But how do we move from feeling the awareness of multidimensional to being multidimensional?
Well, why don't we share a little exploration of that together? One of the ways I like to do this is to start by feeling the frequencies, the reconnective healing frequencies, in a very subtle yet refined way, almost like an introduction, a stepping into the finite, infinite exploration.
Cool. That sounds exciting.
I'm playing with the words.
I love it.
But what the hell? Let's see where that leads us. Why put words in us into little boxes anyway? So, let's start by opening our hands, feeling the frequencies in a small manner of movement. A refinement, as if you're just finding, well, let's say that you've gotten over digital sound and you really want to re-experience the analog sound of the old vinyl record albums. And you found just how to get that needle into the groove. And you're playing. Finding that flow, finding that zone, finding that movement. It's almost as if, for me, my left hand is that vinyl album and my right hand is the needle, and as I glide my right hand back and forth, I can feel the movement. I can feel the movement of the needle and how it fine-tunes into the sound.
So, as the record is spinning in the groove around and around, I can hear it. I can hear the sound of the record moving around.
Not just the sound of the music on the album, but also the sound of the album, the record album itself.
Turning.
So, let's bring that consciousness into greater clarity. Let's visualize it, listen to it, and add color to it. As you know, with reconnective healing, the experience is one that we refer to as transsensory. It's similar to what sometimes in psychology they call a synesthesia. It's where colors have sound, sounds have taste, tastes have texture, and really this is not all that far out there, because the truth is, oftentimes when people lose their sense of smell, they lose their appetite because they lose their ability to enjoy and experience flavor. So we know that some of our senses overlap, and here in the field of reconnective healing, we realize that all of them interplay and overlap.
And it's a very interesting characteristic of what we'll call the frequencies, the reconnective healing frequencies, or the energy, light, and information, as we receive it in the way that we're just playing here. Just this very subtle, playful air exchange. As it reaches through us, it makes available this synesthesia. It ignites, or it gives us access to a fuller, we might call it more multidimensional, sensory awareness. And that is often when, as Eric was just mentioning, we're able to taste a sound or hear a color, but let's go even one step further.
Yeah.
Do you want to do something with our eyes closed for a moment?
Let's
Take
do
sight
this.
Away?
Let's do this first, because you can see behind us the sun and the colors and the greens, and we've been noticing birds with interesting whites and blues and iguanas. There are gorgeous colors of life here in Costa Rica. So notice what you may see behind us, and if you choose now, close your eyes and either visualize what you saw with us or go on to your own exploration from your own experience and or imagination, maybe of a beautiful, bright, sunny day in a park or a nature atmosphere with you, where you can see the colors. Maybe the first color you see is the green of the leaves. So study the green and sort of zoom into it. Feel the frequencies, and as you explore more closely the green of maybe that leaf, allow yourself to begin to also recognize some of the yellow and some of the blue, the different shades that's comprising that green. And as you look at that, what if the yellow and the blue of the green danced across your tongue? What might that blue taste like? What might the yellow taste like, and what might the blue and the yellow combined create a flavor of? You can hear the wind. In your own setting, you can hear the breeze as it blows through the leaves. Of course, we know that plants and leaves and flowers and trees have a fragrance. But what about the wind itself? The wind itself, you can't see. You can only see the leaves blowing. You can't smell unless it blows its own fragrance, or the fragrance of what it's moving around. But what if the wind had a flavor?
I'm going to say that as we're sitting here feeling the frequencies, I'm touching the wind. I can actually sense touching wind. And as I touch it, it has a texture.
Now, what if you were to gently, feather light touch, take just the surface of maybe your ring finger and dance it over the movement of that breeze, of that wind, back and forth gently, feeling the texture of the breeze, the texture of the wind, in such a way that it began to create a sound. We know when we take a wet finger and run it on the rim of a crystal glass, it creates a tone, but what kind of a sound, soft sound, can be created with the surface of our ring finger dancing over the wind? And can it create not just a tone, but a melody? This is us allowing ourselves to experience more of where we are, what sometimes and often actually is referred to as being multidimensional, stepping into that awareness. And simultaneously, as the awareness continues to expand, it expands in a scalar approach.
And let's explain scalar. Just Rather than being one dimension, opening to another dimension, another and another, the concept of the scalar awareness is that you're just being given more access. You're actually in what we'll call a parallel universe. Everything happening simultaneously. That's the multi-dimensional concept here. And what we're revealing is more and more access